Welcome back to Universe X. It's Chris, and I am here to have a discussion topic today, something I haven't done in quite a little bit. But before we get right into that, I want to let you guys know that I'm still trying hard. I've got a really good, content schedule lined up, so the next month or so is gonna be pretty hot. At least I think so. And this is gonna be cards, this is gonna be Dokkan, this is gonna be Legends. I'm gonna try to go in and branch out a little bit and have all three of those things in this channel, because just Dragon Ball in general is life. And before I get into stuff, I just want to let you guys know that we have reached our halfway limit for this contest. We're at 26 out of 50 needed, meaning that yellow Broly leader that has been wrecking with Lineage so much will be sent out to a lucky winner in a week. And if we get 24 more subscribers to hit that 50x subscriber mark, I'll be sending out the Broly Green Leader as well for my 200 subscriber celebration. So I'll be sure to like, comment, subscribe. The link to that video will be down in the description, and I will send that so you guys can go over there, see the instructions, watch the video, and enter for your chance to win too. So back on topic, I wanted to talk today about some news that we got going into Friday, and that is that we are finally getting multicolor cards. It'll be happening in the summer. So if you guys noticed back in my red reveal for Destroyer Kings, I talked about how we may get, multicolors, because there was a particular card, I believe it's the Gogeta 6-drop, that was actually worded really, really interestingly, and it said you had to have a red or a sand leader that's red and no other colors, and that kind of tipped me off and tipped off a lot of people. So what do we know right now? What we know right now is that one, set 7 will drop in the summer of 2019. 2, the block name from Miraculous Revival is going to, Shinron's Wishes, the block name will actually be Infinite Unity. And Unity is probably just a neat little nod to the fact that we're going to be having dual colors. They will be the first time that we've ever seen multicolor cards, and that's going to be cool. So the other things that we know is that on May 17th, we are going to get 2 expansion packs. And I don't think we've had an expansion pack since the heroes and villains that we had way back when Overwhelm was first introduced. But one of them will be called Unity of Sands, and the other one will be called Unity of Destruction. Obviously, the Sands aren't that hard. The Destruction, I'm kind of wondering about, like, maybe if it's still until with the Broly moves, we'll have some Goku and Vegeta cards, maybe some Gogeta cards, and then maybe the Unity of Destruction will be like Broly and Frieza themed, who knows. They could do a lot of stuff with it, or they can do destruction agents that are dual colored. There's just a lot of cool things they can do, but we're going to be getting those. And those will be, as far as they have said right now, $15.99. And that $15.99 will get you 3 sets of Pack 6, which, of course, prices are going up and down on, but whatever. 3 packs of Pack 6, set 6, 8 new cards. Now, it's going to be 4 new cards, but each one will have a foil and a non-foil variant. So 8 cards total, but it's going to be 4 new cards, and you're going to just be able to pull, get 4 of them to foil out a set and non-foil out a set. In the past, we have had expansion pack issues. If you guys remember, it was almost impossible to find both of them, and then eventually you could find some Heroes, but only because Heroes was not even biased, the worst of the 2 sets. So moving from there, what I wanted to discuss when it comes to multicolor cards is actually pros, cons, and some of my own concerns. And I invite you guys to talk down in the comments so that I can know your opinion too, see what you guys feel about this. But personally, my pros for having multicolor cards: 1, better consistency with your charge phase. There are so many times where, you're sitting here and you're going, do I tap blue first because my Sensu and I need to keep that open, or do I tap red because I might want a double red play? Do I tap yellow because I'm going second and I need to have my Bloodlust open? Or do I tap my other color or charge my other color so that I can actually progress into my double color plays? That happens a lot in this game, and it would be completely cleared if you could just play a green-yellow card and know that you have your Broly plays open or your Bloodlust open, or you could play blue-red and know that you can go into Chain Attack Trunks with an Unyielding in hand But meanwhile, you could have your Sensu or Dimension Magic up for your opponent's next turn when they swing. So there's a lot of good things, and it'll allow us to play more colors in a deck when you have dual colors. You'll be able to start playing a lot more tri-color decks, and maybe even pushing into quad colors one day without the use of something like Warriors of Universe 7. So I think that's pretty cool. The next one pretty much leads right off of that, a wider selection of decks. When you're not restricted as much by colors, the sky is the limit. If you want to play all your Gotenks cards, but Gotenks is now officially spread out through red, green, and blue. But now with dual color or multicolor cards, I said dual multicolor cards, you don't know. Tricolor Gotenks could be a deck, and for all we know, with another edition, it could be one of the best decks we've seen. So there's just a lot of different factors that we can fit in, and it just brings up so many more color combinations. Next, again, kind of leading off of this, deck builders' ingenuity will be flexed harder and rewarded more. With the ability to play way more cards in a deck, depending on how your multicolored cards are and how they tap. And of course, all this is going off of the assumption that if you tap a dual colored card or a tri-colored card, it can tap for each one of those energies. But going off of that, deck builders will be a lot better off because they will be unlimited, essentially, with what they can do. As long as we have enough multicolored cards, a good deck builder will be able to run circles around somebody who can't just conceptualize the deck concepts in their head. I use concepts one more time than I need to in that sentence, but we'll move past it. So I think that's actually cool. And the last part is where it comes into super competitive play at the table, because all this stuff was essentially, well, the first one was at the table, but the middle two were kind of at home, when you're building. But this multicolored format should lead to an extra layer of competitive play when it comes to playing around your opponent's outs. The amount of times where your opponent charges double not yellow in a deck that uses yellow and the freezes army, you can just go the heck off because they don't have Bloodlust open, when your opponent doesn't have, back in the day when your opponent didn't have an open green, but they were a green deck, you knew you weren't going to get full power energy, so your 1-drops are free to land. However, in a multi-color card format, you could play a blue-yellow, which I hope that's probably the worst color combination for us as players because that's going to be nasty. But you could play a blue-yellow or green-yellow, and your opponent would not know whether they should be fearing the Revenge Death Ball or the Bloodlust. And that changes these plays. That makes different plays unsafe where they would have been safe, or you would have at least been able to see them and swerve the danger. So that's going to add another level of competitive play. Cons. Just like how some of this makes it better for skillful players, I think some of this will make it easier for not skillful players. And I know that shouldn't be like a con, but I feel like competitive edge and how your game naturally creates competitive edges is very important for the strength of your metagame, the strength of your top tier tournaments. And I think that this will make charge phases become less skill intensive because yes, sometimes you can get screwed. Just like any game that has a energy or mana base, just like Magic, you can get screwed by not getting the right color you want and you're locked out of it, or you have to charge a very good card. But at the same time, sometimes that does help. Waiting an extra turn to charge your yellow because you don't want to charge your only Bloodlust that you might see for 3 turns, and you see a yellow a turn later throughout your draw for turn, maybe cards from life, that actually is very, 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 very crucial. Your choice to hold that lust in hand for one more turn in exchange for possibly being able to play it the moment you get a yellow is a judgment call that can sometimes turn the tide of the entire battle. And with multicolor cards, you're going to take away from that. So some players that may not have been able to play themselves out of that hole will now just not have to. And that's not exactly a con, that's just one more competitive edge is kind of stripped away. Now, my concerns for dual colored cards is that if they make dual colored cards, I think they should stay extras in battle cards. I personally think that dual color leaders are probably one of the worst things you could possibly do for this game right now. I think the dual color leaders are probably just way too broken. Like, on a worst case scenario scale, what if we had a blue-yellow leader? Like, just think about it. A blue-yellow leader. do you really want somebody, I know the card's at 1, but do you really want somebody to have access to Unyielding Trunks, Shugesh, and Dimension Magic? It's literally that simple. Red yellow, actually, you know what? Almost any color with yellow is a bad mix. Green yellow, and I think if they did it black yellow, and those may not be the worst. You could cheat some things into play that would be detrimental in every color, but I mean, like red yellow, we don't need people Shugeshing in Glory Obsessed Prince Vegetas. Or we don't need people being able to Shugesh, tap their energy, knowing that they have like Dimension Magic in hand to take another life and untap. Like, there's just, yellow is almost never a good mix. And Lord help us if it's yellow X with Frieza's army, because at that point, no. So that's pretty much that. That's a scary part, and I'm sure there are way more options than that could be very terrifying, but I feel like dual colored leaders could potentially break the game in not fun ways. You could have decks like blue, which have a lot of good cards, but often lack draw in most of the cases up until the very most recent sets. And now blue-green could be using Paragus Deadly Defender, or Da Fatherly Defender, basically the mechanically superior Hoi, and Hoi was already a broken super combo. So I just don't think we need to have dual colored leaders. It also messes up things for sparking negates, and it just, having a single leader have access to 8 sparking negates is probably too much. It just is. The next concern is if they only, let's say they only make like SRs dual color. Let's say that every dual color or tricolor or quad color, I don't care, card they make is only a boss card, only an integral card, a card that you want to play, not charge. This makes the charge phase painful, almost. I could put this red-blue card down, but then I just lose, one of the best cards in my deck, and I only have 3 more of them, and some of them could be in life. That becomes a very, very, very hard struggle, and so they have to balance the fodder cards with the important cards so that your charge phases don't become terrible messes. Next, concerns. Next concern, without an S, is multicolored cards being too narrow. So let's say next set they release a green yellow Paragus. Okay? That would be cool because he would fit right inside of the Broly deck. But for any other green yellow deck, it would be just kind of blah. Like, they need to, the first couple need to have some sort of generic effects that just help the color in general, help the deck in general. Because if I had a Paragus that specifically did something with Frieza's army cards, so it would be good for, Broly, possibly just normal Frieza's army. What happens when you want to play green-yellow Namekians and your only dual-colored cards work for Frieza's army? You have to dead slots. You have dead slots in your deck just to make sure the consistency with charging is better, and I don't really like that. So they need to make sure that some of these things are generic. Even if it is a Paragus, make the Paragus do something generic for yellow or green decks. Make it anti-red or blue, but don't make it play this card, discard a Broly from your hand or a Frieza's army, green-yellow Frieza's army from your hand, and search 1 cost extra card, a yellow or green extra card from your deck. So, something small like that. That's probably a really bad example because I can search like most negates and bloodlust, and we don't want that. But just make it something not generic. I mean, that card would actually still be good, but the Frieza's army would prevent it from being played in, Namekians. So that's my main thing. It just needs to not be narrow, because then you're going to have certain decks with dead cards just to be able to play them. and charge them. So that's pretty much what I have. Those were my what we know, my pros, my cons, my concerns, and I would like you guys to comment down below. Let me know if you have any pros that I didn't think of, any cons, any concerns you might have, and even if I did touch on it, if you want to elaborate, let's start the discussion. Let's start the forum right down there. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in again, for sitting through another discussion time. I tried to make it a little shorter, 15 minutes, just about 15, a little over 15. And I will see you guys next time you decided to join Universe X. I'll be coming out with a lot more content this week, and I hope you enjoy the ride. Peace.